I still have a real estate investment company. We flip and wholesale properties. We are transforming the organization a little bit. We're taking on Airbnbs as a strategy. We're looking to get into, storage units. I think that's the evolution of a lot of real estate investors in their journey as they evolve. And we're evolving in the same way. I run a mentorship program. I have coaching and mentoring for people who are looking to turn this into a business, start to scale and build consistency. And then we run a mastermind community for active real estate.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. As always, today I have an incredible guest that I'm very excited to talk to, get to learn from, and connect with. He's in the real estate space, and that's the space that I'm very passionate about, which most of you don't know about. But yeah, right. So I'm very excited to talk about this. And before I introduce him to you, though, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving comments, reviews, likes on all the major podcasting platforms. Apple, Google, Spotify, and to those who have been watching on YouTube as well, thank you very much. I want to ask you for a favor today. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value, if you get some type of skill or new insight or information or the inspiration to go out and take action to move forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this interview with 10 people. Share the link on social media, send it to friends, but help me with this so that we can reach more people, so that we can grow and motivate, inspire, and bless other people to change their lives. And while you do that, click the like button, subscribe, and I would really appreciate that if you do that. And today I have Don Costa. He comes from, he wasn't always successful. He wasn't always he didn't always run masterminds and events. Actually, when he went to the store, he used to take his calculator with him because he wouldn't want to embarrass himself. And while he was getting stuff, he would be, calculating the total because he didn't have enough money. And, there was a time in which he had to decide whether to eat that week or pay the electric bill. So that's where this gentleman comes from. And today, he has been able to use real estate to build time, financial freedom, and be able to live life on his own terms and enjoy his family and live a life that is fulfilling to him. So I'm very excited to talk to you, Don. Thank you very much for being here and making some time, man. And you are welcome.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So, Don, the first thing that I do with my guests, man, is I ask them to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
Well, that's going to be tough. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. Jobs and the time clock was always like a prison to me. A 5-hour workday, 8-hour workday would be just hell on earth. It's funny because I work more hours now usually, but I'm free to make that choice. So I've tried different businesses. I've owned cell phone stores. I've owned a restaurant and nightclub. I've been a real estate investor 2 times. I lost everything one time and had to redo it again. And just in a nutshell, I am an entrepreneur. Real estate is the widget, right? And it's what I use. It's the avenue, the vehicle. But at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur first.
Awesome. Yeah, that was clear and concise, man.
Yeah.
So let's see. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the success or do you want to start with the failure?
I'll go wherever you want to go, my friend.
Yeah. I want to start with the success, man, because I like talking about the success and then getting people to think, oh, but he's Don. He's able to do this. I'm not able to do this. And then all of a sudden, we go back and they're like, holy crap, I have no excuses. Right. So Let's talk about what you have going on right now, man.
Right now, I have a lot going on. I still have a real estate investment company. We flip and wholesale properties. We are transforming the organization a little bit. We're taking on Airbnbs as a strategy. We're looking to get into, storage units. I think that's the evolution of a lot of real estate investors in their journey as they evolve. So, and we're evolving in the same way. I run a mentorship program. I have coaching and mentoring for people who are looking to turn this into a business, start to scale and build consistency. And then we run a mastermind community for active real estate investors who are basically running a good business at this point in time, but want to make it better, want to build it better, and that kind of thing. So a lot going on. I have 3 kids, trying to balance that. I travel a lot. I'm on a plane almost every other week, which I love traveling, and yeah, just doing all kinds of crazy things at this point in time in my life.
I'm very curious about something, man. Is the background that you have like a Zoom background, or is that like an office?
It's a Zoom background. No, it's a Zoom background.
Oh, it looked really real. I was like, I couldn't tell the difference. Normally, when someone is using a Zoom background, it gets like blurred and it's but yeah, it's cool. Okay,
lighting fixes everything. People man, I've been on camera and doing a podcast and trying to put out content for almost 7 years now. And I've learned that lighting is my best friend. And with the right lighting, you can make a fake background look really real. So
it does look really real, man. It's crazy. Yeah. I had to ask. So, okay. So your mentorship, like, what is your mentorship called? Is that the Inner Circle Elite?
Inner Circle Elite. So the podcast is Flip Talk, and the community is the Flip Talk community, right? At the end of the day. So Inner Circle Elite, it's Flip Talk's Inner Circle Elite is our mastermind community. And that is for active real estate investors. You have to qualify to get into that. You have to be running an active business. You can't be brand new, because we're having high level conversations. So, and then the mentorship community is, we have Ready and we have Build. So basically Ready is somebody who has never done a deal before, is trying to figure out the real estate investing arena. Maybe they've done a couple of deals and they're trying to start to get some traction, but it's basically, that's our most basic program. And then we have what's called Build, which is, now I want to turn this into a real business. I want to build some momentum around it. I want to start to get some consistency, maybe put some systems and processes in place and build a team around it. So, I'm big on, at all levels, everything we do, having a vision and a purpose around the business you're building, making sure you have the right advice and counsel around you. You have people that really have your back and are giving you valuable information to help you create a business and not a prison. Because a lot of people get into entrepreneurship and they struggle because they don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to be a leader. They don't know how to manage money. They don't realize, that just because you made $100,000 doesn't mean you get to keep $100,000. You have overhead, taxes, and how do you budget that and set that aside, and create marketing consistency in your organization so that $100,000 keeps coming in. Those are lessons that, somebody who's blazed a trail before you can lay out for you. And that's why it's important to have the right community around you. And then a lot of times we get in and we're just throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. And we end up creating a business we don't want. And we end up creating a prison where we're basically working for our business and our business isn't working for us. So on all levels of our community, it's about building a better business, building the right business for you, and us helping you figure out what that is and then build that.
Cool. That sounds really awesome. So Ready, Build, those are the two.
Ready, Build. We call it Ready, Build, Scale, but really scale portion is the mastermind.
Got it. Okay, that's really interesting, man. It's really unique. I've never come across someone that named their programs Ready, Build, Scale, right?
Right.
And it's in order, right? Pretty cool stuff. So, and those programs, are they for flipping and wholesaling?
Yeah. So my career, I've been a real estate investor for 20 years. I had, a little hiatus where I lost everything in 2008, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I started as a rehabber. I started buying subject to, I started rehabbing and flipping. And then as my business evolved, about 5 years ago, I took on wholesaling. And, so we teach wholesaling as the core strategy, especially on the newer levels, just because that's the fastest way to a check. But I've done everything in this business. Like I said, I've done creative finance. I've rehabbed hundreds and hundreds of properties. I've held rentals. I've done all kinds of stuff in this arena. And so really we'll teach you whatever it is you want to learn. We'll help you with whatever it is you want to learn. What I'm a master at is I'm able to look at somebody's operation, what somebody's trying to accomplish, and help them find the path of least resistance to the maximum profitability that they can have. And so for instance, when it comes to rehabbing, like I said, I've rehabbed hundreds of properties, and I can build a rehab company, show you how to scale a rehab company and keep most of your money in the bank, which most people who are rehabbing, if you're hearing this, you know, the whole skin in the game thing where you're broke 90% of the time. You're trying to scale your operation. You're constantly putting money into projects. I have a few key systems, a few key processes where you keep your money out of the projects, and you don't have any of your money there. You're able to basically keep your money in for reserves and run your business position of power. And it's a game changer when you're scaling a rehab company. So the answer is courses are geared around, coaching is geared around, wholesaling, because that's the fastest way to money, but we can teach on any level of investing.
Cool. All right. So if wholesaling is the fastest way to money, like that's something that anyone can get in and, get a check really quick. So what is the key to wholesaling? What is like the number one thing, most important thing that someone should know about wholesaling in order to make it work?
Well, I mean, the number one thing you should understand, I think, about any aspect of any business you're in is you have to understand that number one, you are a marketing company, so as a wholesaler, you're not a real estate investor, you're a you're a marketer. You are looking at you're acquiring properties through either networking or direct to seller marketing of some fashion. And then you are marketing to an end buyer. You're still a marketer. You're collecting the check in the middle, right? Very simple. You're just flipping paper. So that's number one. Number two is numbers are numbers are numbers. So surrounding yourself with people in your community, whether you're networking at RIA groups or listening to a podcast, or maybe even getting a coach or a mentor that can help guide you to make sure that you're doing things with real numbers. That would be the second most important thing. And number three, get out of your own way and fail forward, take massive and perfect action. We're all learning as we go along. I'm still learning things every single day. And, that should be number one, actually, take massive and perfect action. I use it as number three here, but yeah, just understand what your business really is. Take action on it and surround yourself with people that can help you make very logical decisions as far as what real numbers are and what numbers you should be working with.
Have you ever raised capital?
I have. I raise private money all the time. And so I do everything with private money. I don't do anything with bank financing. I don't do anything with hard money loans. I don't use any of my own money in projects. I'm big on using 100% financing for private money and not having people. Okay. So for instance, like I said, I'm very, very big at being able to scale a rehab company without my money, because I want to operate from a position of power, not a position of weakness. Right. So one of the things that I do is I'll only work with lenders that will lend me 100% on the project. That's purchase cost, holding cost, rehab cost, and so on and so forth. I don't put any money down. And, the reason is because when you have skin in the game, the old way of doing it, they want 20% down or 10% down. If you're buying, let's just say you're buying a property at $100,000 and you're doing two of those a month with $1,000 payment each month, you're putting 20% down, you're making $1,000 payment. So you're putting 20,000 down on each property. That's $40,000. And then the next month you have a payment of $1,000. Now, let's just say you're doing that every month. You're buying two properties like that. By the end of month 4, you're out $180,000 out of pocket, and you still haven't turned the properties from month 1, right? Because most people's average turn time in flipping, especially when you're new, is going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 months. So you're $180,000 out of pocket, and you haven't turned the first set of properties. How can you sustain that? How can you grow? And so I'm big on little things like not using your own money, because if you're not using your own money, then you can continue to grow, right? Because now you're leveraging infinite money. So I go to people and have the conversation with private money about how the old way of doing things, having skin in the game, is not set up for success because I'm a greater risk. I'm a greater risk because I don't have money in the bank. All my money's in projects. And if one thing goes wrong, then I could be a liability. Whereas if I have zero skin in the game, but I keep operational reserves and I'm running a healthy company, I'm a better bet. Because if one thing goes wrong, I have cushion. I have ability to function. I have ability to operate, and I'm making good decisions. I just have that conversation with private money, and it's allowed.
So that's like your pitch.
That's my pitch.
Private lender?
Yeah. It's just, this is the way I do things. And this is why, because if I have to worry about whether or not I'm going to make a mortgage payment or pay something on this project, or take an offer that's not the best offer for my company, say, for instance, how many people on this listening to this have been in a situation, if you've been a rehab or in any business where all your money's in your business, and then you have a situation where you have to make a decision to sell something, for instance, flipping properties, you have to make a decision to sell that property for not an ideal terms, not ideal price, but you need to do it because you have to get your money back.
Yeah.
That's not successful, for a business long term. You want to be able to maximize profits at every turn. You want to be able to wait if you have to for the best offer or the best terms, so that your business ultimately can squeeze every profitable dollar out of it can. And I'm big on setting your business up that way at any level, and having the right relationships to make that happen.
Awesome. So where do you find these like private lenders?
You look, there's no secret. I wish I could say there was a secret to finding private lenders or great contractors or this or that. Look, you got to do the work, right? Private lenders, you talk to private lenders that you work with, they're going to suggest private lenders. You talk to real estate agents you work with. Hey, do you know anybody who's lending? You talk to title company. If you're working with a title company, do you know anybody who lends on these projects locally that maybe has money to lend or isn't happy with who they're lending with?
So networking.
Yeah, you go to RIAs. Every time I go and speak at a RIA, I'm going to go speak at a RIA tomorrow night. Literally every time I get up in front of a room and speak at a RIA, I have 2 or 3 or 4 people approach me afterwards offering to lend me money. And so getting yourself out there, letting people know what you do, and building relationships is the way to make it happen.
Let's see. We are there. You go there.
Yeah.
All right. So you stayed in lend me money. Like you go to speak, and then you always have 2 to 3 people come at you trying to lend you money. That's where you
Absolutely.
stay.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay.
I mean, it's a constant thing you're doing. You're always looking for money. You're always looking for opportunity, right? And the thing is, you should always be looking when you don't need it. A lot of people they won't need money, so they'll be looking for money. And then when they need money, they go running for it. That's the worst time to be looking for money.
Okay. So, man, I don't know anything about real estate. I know that I'm going to be building an empire in real estate, right? But I don't know anything about it, right? So right now I'm just building my business, and I know that I will go into real estate because that's where I will put my money. So I don't know anything about it. So what I want to ask you is, how does like the deal look between you and a lender, right? So like they lend you money. So what are the terms? How does that look?
So it just depends on the lender. We will pay anywhere from 10%, 8%, 10% in most cases. I don't like to go higher than 10%. Sometimes they'll want a point or two, which is fine, as long as they're willing to finance that into the loan. Typically we I shouldn't say typically, we only borrow project by project. So they'll get a note and deed of trust, just like a bank. And their money goes into escrow. We close on the property. We get the rehab dollars, rehab the property. We sell the property. The money goes into escrow. They get paid. We get the difference. And that's how we do it. So they're treated like a bank. And in some cases, we make them monthly payments on the interest. And in some cases, we pay them everything when we're done and we've sold the property. So it just depends on the lender's preference. But no matter how we work with them, on the terms of the loan for the most part, but no matter how we do it, they loan 100%.
Okay, nice. All right. So it's very simple, right? It's just about putting in the work.
It's really about just making sure that you're always having those conversations. Okay. A great elevator pitch. If I asked you, what do you do? What do you do, man? Tell me, what do you do for a living?
Okay, I help entrepreneurs build a multi-million-dollar network of key people who will be able to get them in front of their ideal clients, who can become their clients, who will get them in front of their ideal clients, who can invite them to speak on stages, who they can invite to speak on their stage, and ultimately help them level up. Because like all I do is interview people that are more successful than me, and like I've been leveling up. Like I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago, and I help people do that, right? And I use podcasting as a networking tool, and leverage a rare concept that I call the cloak track, right? And we leverage that concept to build a multi-million-dollar network that will help you achieve bigger goals faster and with less efforts.
Okay, that was a mouthful. So, but what I would do is refine that, right, into something quick that's a hook, right? We all know in marketing that it's about the hook, and so a lot of people that are real estate investors, when somebody says, "What do you do for a living?" they'll say, "Oh, I flip houses," and people go, "Oh, okay, that's cool," but a lot of people don't really understand what you mean, right? Maybe they watch HGTV, what maybe they don't. When somebody asks me what I do for a living, I say I help people place their money in high performing projects to get better than average returns. And I leave it at that. And then people go, wait, what do you mean?
Nice. Okay.
And that starts the conversation about, what I actually do. which is flip houses. Now they're curious. Now they're asking me questions. And then it may turn to, I know somebody who may be interested in working with you, or how can I work with you? And so it's a hook. You're looking, depending on who you're talking to, you got to think of it from, again, we're market. At the end of the day, we're always marketers. And that's the one thing I think entrepreneurs forget. We're marketers. And so everything you do, from, your business to you hiring the right people, to selling your product, your widget, to, working with investors, what's the hook? You're looking for clients, like, you're looking to help people accomplish something. What's the hook? You know what I'm saying? And to be able to sum that up into just a few words.
So then I could have left it at, I help entrepreneurs build a multi-million-dollar network that will help them achieve bigger goals faster and with less efforts.
Yeah, that could be that's enough for me to go, okay, if that interests me, what do you tell me more about that? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by less efforts? Like, how you can help me build a multi-million-dollar network?
What do you mean by network? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, what's going to get them to ask you more questions and not confuse them? I help people place their money in high performing projects to get better than average returns.
Yeah.
You
nice.
know? So, and I'm a real estate investor, but that's what I actually do. Right.
Okay. So then you help people invest in real estate. So then those are your investors. That's how you raise money from investors.
That's one of the ways to raise money. Look, cool. There's, I can go on and on about the different ways that you do this, right? I mean, I fly first class, not because I'm bougie, because first of all, I'm frustrated and old and I don't want to be uncomfortable anymore. But second of all, because you meet people who have money and you have conversations with people who have money. And I've actually raised private money sitting in first class. I was talking to one of my lenders about paying off a loan and placing him on another loan. And the person next to me started asking questions. And so, think about your environment, think about who you're associating with, think about who you're talking to, think about the hook in the conversation, think about how you can add value to somebody. And if you add value to people, they're going to ask how they can add value to you in most cases. Right. So it's just thinking outside the box and making sure that the conversations you're having are always leading in the direction of your goals.
But yeah, man, it was a great point, right? Like, entrepreneurs forget that we are marketers. Like, if you're in the, copier business, like, you're not in the copier business. You're in the sales and marketing of copiers, right? If you're in the car business, you're not in the car business. You're in the sales and marketing of cars, right? And
right.
So yeah, like every entrepreneur is not in the business that they think they're in. They're in like a dentist. They're not in the business of like fixing teeth. Like a dentist, if they want to own and run their own practice, they should be in the business of sales and marketing of dentistry, right?
But let's look at the hook, right? I'm a car salesman. No, I help people get from point A to point B in the style and fashion that they deserve to be in. Ask me how.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, if you think about how you present things a little bit differently, it's going to stop and get questions. I give people the smile that they deserve at the end of the day, and help them feel that, feel as beautiful as they really are, what I'm saying, or something like that. I'm a dentist, right? So, I mean, that's just a play on words, and there's probably a better way to do it. But, how can you get people to kind of stop and say, man, that's cool. Like, tell me more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it. So, okay. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind. And I will make sure to keep it short and and hook people.
Right.
So thanks for that advice, man. So tell me about your event that is coming up in like 70 days.
So, look, we have all kinds of stuff. So we have the Inner Circle Elite meeting in July. We do it once a quarter, every 4 months. So we have one in July and November. Next year it'll be January, April, July, November. So we do them every 4 months. We do immersions about every other month right now, where we go to a different city. For instance, in about 2 weeks from now, we're going to be meeting in Riverside, California, where we actually meet in a city that one of our Inner Circle Elite members has an office. We do an office visit, an incredible office visit, see their operation, see their team, ask them questions. And then we spend 3 days just really kind of building, your business, helping you with your problems, answering your questions. So those are really cool. So between those and the Inner Circle Elite meetings, we just do a lot of cool stuff, with the community.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So you do events very often then?
We do them pretty often. Yeah. If I'm not doing an event, then I'm speaking at somebody else's event. I just got back from St. Louis a couple of days ago. I went out and did a 3-hour, almost 4-hour training on direct mail marketing. I was out there a few months ago, where I did about a 4-hour training on rehabbing from Position of Power. So I'm always taking opportunities to just collaborate and give to the community as much as I possibly can.
Nice, man. Yeah. So you got a lot of interesting stuff going on. So on the Flip Talk podcast, you interview people, right?
I do. Mm-hmm.
And so what is it they talk about?
Flip Talk, obviously, we talk about real estate investing. We talk about flipping houses, wholesaling houses, buy and hold, different strategies, marketing, entrepreneurship. We get into entrepreneurship some. And it's just, I've been doing it since 2016. And it's a small little break here, I would say between August and now. I took some time off. We just hit the ground running again for Flip Talk 2.0, and just incredible conversations. I mean, you started a podcast, you get to talk to really high level people. Like, if you want to mastermind with incredible people and be able to ask them incredibly cool questions and get great feedback, start a podcast. And it's a great opportunity to really level up your knowledge and your network.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I said, right now, I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago. Like, who are you talking to right now? It's not the same that I was like 6 months ago, before having 113 conversations with people like you, people that are decades ahead of me. So it's been pretty cool. It's been an amazing journey, and it's definitely helped me collapse time, which is, one of the best things that you can ask for in the world. So yeah. So man, you have a lot of interesting things going on. Like, if people want to get started on real estate, if they want to start, if they want to get ready, build and scale, definitely you got something for them. What do you think? My audience are male entrepreneurs with kids. People who are trying to make the money game work. Right. People who are, they're making some money, but they're still struggling, right? Balancing family. They're not they haven't been able to get to the point in which they're delegating and they're building teams, and their business is running by its own. Just like you said right now, if you have a business most people have a business that runs them, not the other way around. So where can these people go, right? And where do you think they can go to get the most benefits out of everything that you're doing?
It's fliptalk.com is a real easy place to start. We have, all of our previous episodes there. We will have all of our upcoming new relaunched episodes on there as well. There is a link at the top right-hand corner if you're on the webpage to apply for coaching or to check out and apply for the mastermind. If you're on your phone, obviously the menu's a little different, but they're still there. You can find me on Instagram at The Real Don Costa. I'm all over Facebook. You can Google Flip Talk and find all kinds of content. I've been doing it for 6 years. And we try to just absolutely deliver value. If we're doing a podcast or anything that we're doing, we don't charge anywhere near what we should. Podcasts are obviously free. When we do these events, these boot camps, we don't charge what we should. And they really, I spend 3 days answering your questions, showing you systems, process, people, mapping it out, marketing.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. Real quick, do you want to know how I've been using my podcast to build a multi-million-dollar network with over 100 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, reach hundreds of my ideal clients with my message, coaching, service, and podcast, get invited to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months alone, go to my own events and have over 100 successful entrepreneurs being willing to speak at my events, become a millionaire in 1 year, get mentored by multimillionaires, and achieve goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year, and ultimately get unstuck and make quantum leaps of progress in my business and life with less than 1 hour of work just by being myself. If you answered yes to any of those, I just want to invite you to a free training showing you how I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar network that is helping me achieve bigger income goals faster with only 1 hour of speaking and just being myself. To be honest, I thought I was going to be a multi-millionaire, speak on stages, throw my own events, and live a successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and impact in 10 years from now. That seemed so far away, but my podcast has been able to help me do that in less than 6 months. I'm actually doing all of that this year at the age of 21 with my podcast. I'm reaching thousands of people with my message, my service, my podcast, my coaching. I've gotten booked to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months. And on these stages, I'm going to be getting in front of hundreds of my ideal clients, making roughly around 15 to 30K plus per event. Not only that, I have a network of over 100 high-level, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs who have all agreed to speak at my events. Getting clients is a problem of the past. I've gotten the opportunities to learn from billionaires, and I'm collapsing decades of time, and I'm literally achieving what I thought was going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year. All of this because I use podcasting as a networking tool, and I leveraged a rare concept called the cloak track. And I want the exact same thing for you. Just imagine where you could be in 1 year from now if you get this free training right now. That is why I'm inviting you to this training. On this short training, you're going to learn how a small group of purpose-driven entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, course creators, and speakers have combined podcasting with this rare concept called the cloak track to build a multi-million-dollar network, reach thousands of their ideal clients with their message, books, courses, coaching, make an extra $118,800, get booked on 10 stages, and build a successful network of entrepreneurs who speak on their stage. All of this in under 6 months. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps to make this work. Step number 1, alignment. Getting clear on who you want to be, what you want to do, your goals, your purpose, and aligning all of this with building your podcast and your ideal podcast guest. Step number 2, leveraging the cloak track to find your ideal podcast guest and never running out of them. Step number 3, leveraging the cloak track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4, the content machine. The content machine is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. And I'm going to show you all of those 4 steps. The link to access this free training is in the description of this video. Click on it and go watch this training right now so that you can learn how you can too build a multi-million-dollar network that helps you achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. Note, this training is only available to 18 people, so act right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
Whatever it is you need, no question goes unanswered. And, so we really try to deliver. When I got into this originally, I just launched the podcast because I wanted to stay in my lane. I didn't plan on it becoming what it became. I was scared of my own shadow for the most part. I was terrified of talking on stage. You would have never saw me on camera. I was 300 plus pounds when I started the podcast, honestly. So over the years, I dropped 100 pounds. I put a little bit back on. I'm getting ready to work on getting that back off, but I'm still about 60 something, almost 70 pounds down from, where I started originally. I speak on stages now. I get to network with incredible people. So, I feel incredibly blessed for that. So we really try to deliver value in everything we do, and show the gratitude for the people who have supported what we do and been part of our circle. And I will tell you that if you become part of our community and become part of our circle in any way, shape, or form, like we're going to bend over backwards as we can to make sure that you accomplish what you want to accomplish. Basically, we're going to be out there on the battlefield with you.
Amazing, man. So you have this amazing community, you have all this amazing systems, experience, all this amazing stuff going on. You speak on stage and, like 3 different programs and all of that. So let's go back, right? Were you always doing this stuff? Right now you said that you couldn't even like stand in your own shadow or something like that. So take me back now, man.
So, I've been an entrepreneur, like I said, born and bred. I've had some different businesses that were either successful or not successful, but they never fulfilled me or took me to the level that I wanted to be at.
What were those businesses?
I've owned cell phone stores.
Okay.
Fast forward, I owned a nightclub and restaurant. We'll get into that in a minute, but I've owned some cell phone stores. I've had some other stuff, other little adventures I've done, making products and different things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I wanted to be a real estate investor, and I got into that in 2003. I started door knocking in 2003. The market was very much like it is right now in 2003, 4, and 5, where just prices were crazy. We didn't have supply chain issues, and money was flowing like ridiculous. And I made a lot of money, and everything I touched turned to gold. And I thought that I was a genius.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was never going to end. And lo and behold, 2008 happened. So by the time 2008 happened, I had opened a restaurant and nightclub. I was working on a sunglass line. I had three offices in California, multiple agents. I had a real estate company, property management company, mortgage company. I was flipping houses, and I was not running a good business by any means. I was a horrible leader. I was a horrible business person. And at the end of the day, it bit me, over a period of a few years. I just basically lost everything. I lost all the money. I was in and out of foreclosure. As you mentioned in the beginning of the show, I was going to the store with the calculator. I'd have my wife, basically call me crying from the store because her card wouldn't clear and she had a cart full of groceries. I went to Taco Bell one time with my family and tried to buy $20 worth of food, and my card wouldn't clear, and I had to collect my family and leave Taco Bell. I still to this day I have credit card PTSD. Whenever I go to rent a card, I have that feeling in my gut sometimes about it not clearing, even though I know there's plenty of money there. Because sometimes they don't. Like you go to run it and it doesn't work, and they're like, rent it again, and you just get that rock in your gut, and you go to run it again, and it goes through fine, right? But so I just, I wasn't smart. I didn't run. Look, great economies right now. This is the cautionary tale. Great economies, great markets hide bad businesses, and you can do a lot of wrong things right now and still make more money because, especially in real estate, property values are going up. But at the end of the day, running a good business, nothing beats that, the fundamentals. And if you really want to be here when opportunity really arises, when the market does shift or change in some way, then you got to fundamentally run a good business. And you need to have people in your ear making sure that you're staying grounded. Because even myself, who's been through it once, sees what's going on in the market and wants to basically jump into the craziness because it's like, am I missing out? Am I missing out on an opportunity? Am I missing out on something? But at the end of the day, I know from experience what it'll cost me if I start to speculate or start to do things that I shouldn't be doing, with the fundamentals of my business, and I have a good group of people around me that keep me grounded. And so I'm not doing the craziness you'll see some people doing out there. I used to. I don't do it anymore, but when things change, I'll be in a position to take advantage of the changes.
So what do you mean with you were a bad leader, right? Because I consider myself a good leader. Like and I bet that every single leader would say that, right? But look at how I operate, and I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to answer your question, but you're still asking it.
Oh yeah. So, I've read a couple of books and I've implemented what I've learned in those couple of books and courses. And, I would consider myself a good leader. So I'm curious about what you mean when you say that you were a bad leader.
I was a bad leader in the sense that, like I was a bottleneck. And to be honest, even like right now, like you have these evolutions in lessons in life, right? So, I was a bottleneck in my organization. All decisions had to go through me. Nobody can make a decision without me. And therefore a lot of stuff didn't get done. I was just a bad leader. And I had so many things going on that I didn't pivot or move when I needed to move. And I held my team back. Right. So that was a lesson I learned, was let good people be great at what they are and get out of their way. And for a long time, my organization ran perfectly, that way. Right now, I'll humbly admit, right now I'm in an evolution point where I've realized that I have been a bad leader again, in the sense that now I do so many things. I'm traveling, I'm running multiple businesses, and I'm not available when my team needs me. I don't always follow through on things that I need to do because I'm trying to do a lot more than I probably should be doing right now. And so I need to start to recognize that and get out of my own way and start to put people and processes in place to make sure that some of these gaps that I've created don't fully, completely, totally affect my team. And so when I say I'm a bad leader, it's not because I'm down on myself. It's just recognizing where my faults were and trying to grow beyond those faults. A lot of people who are bad leaders are so arrogant or egotistical that when they have faults, they think it's everybody else's fault around them, and they're not willing to grow or learn. So, I guess it makes me a better leader that I'm recognizing some of these gaps. And the first gap was being a bottleneck, not trusting people. This gap now is not putting the processes in place, and something I'm working on right now to make sure that I'm still not holding people back from not being available or accountable.
Cool. Awesome. I'm glad you brought that up, man. So, okay. So man, so I got out of being a solopreneur just this year, a couple of months ago, and I have a team of 10, right? And like, I have an incredible, like, step-by-step map that I'm going to use to like add more people as I get more clients and stuff. But I basically have the roadmap to $1 million, right, in a year. And I'm not a control freak. Like I let people be great at what they're good at. And I encourage their dreams. I, give them purpose. Like everything that I do is driven by purpose. I make them feel heard. I make them feel secure. I compensate them well. So like, and I'm trying, like, I'm trying to always be like a good leader. Like I want that, right? Because that's like crucial. Like that is like the number one skill, I would say, for any successful business owner. So do you have any advice on that?
You look, a buddy of mine, Jerry Green, says this perfectly well. There are different phases to your business. And one of the phases, I'll skip over the first two phases, but phase number three is usually the phase that people skip over. They'll skip from, they come in, they're trying to, well, I won't skip over this. They come in, they're trying to figure out the business, and then they get kind of proof of concept, and they start to get some traction in their business. And then there's the constraint phase, right? They'll jump over the constraint phase to the scale phase. Okay. And there's this thing about building a business on a proper foundation. It's about building anything on a proper foundation, and you got to grow properly to grow profitably.
Okay.
And that's really, we all have these massive goals, and I'm one of them that has these massive goals, and I'm not here to tell anybody they can't have that massive goal. If you have a massive goal, I want to help you build that goal exactly the way you want to build it, but I want to make sure you do it profitably and properly. And so scale is a funny thing. It can be a 4-letter word in the sense that, it can be the worst thing you can do at a certain time to your organization. If you're not positioned properly, we have the proper systems and processes in place, the proper people in place. You could scale yourself into bankruptcy. You could scale yourself into misery. You could scale yourself into a prison. And so those are just some things to consider as you're growing. I always say there's these, in every business, as you grow, there's choke points, right? You have these choke points where your business has hit maximum capacity. You said you had 10 people. Okay. So you've taken on more business than you can take on that your 10 people can support. And you hit this choke point where it kind of starts to suck, right? Your people are overworked, you're overworked, your clients aren't getting what they're supposed to be getting. And so you got to choose, what do I do to come out of that choke point? Do I add more people? Do I add more systems? Do I add more process? And I come out of that choke point. And then, you keep going in and out of this choke point. Well, in every operation. And so recognizing that, number one, putting the pieces in place before you go into that kind of choke point, so you don't go into it, really kind of keeps the stress off your organization, off your team, keeps you from losing good people, hiring before you need people, maybe not taking on a client when you're not ready and being able to say no, constraint. Those are all things to consider as you grow. And if you do that, you're going to grow properly and profitably. And the reason why I say this is because there's so many businesses where they're grossing $1 million a year or $2 million a year, and they're not only just broke, but they're actually going into debt, right? Because they have not mastered growing properly and profitably. They have not mastered that constraint and making sure they have the right pieces in place before they grow.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that was great insight. Thank you, man. So what are those business fundamentals that you talk about?
What was that? Business fundamentals?
Yeah.
Go a little deeper on that question, man. Expand.
Yeah. So you said right now that that you forgot about the business fundamentals, and that's when everything started to, like, you started to have problems. No.
Oh, right now, you mean in my organization? So, just it's recognizing right now that, like I said, I'm unavailable. There are tasks on our shoulders, no matter what, at the end of the day, as business owners. There are some tasks we keep, some tasks we give away. It's recognizing that you may have held on to some tasks that you should have given away a long time ago, which there were some things that I had done. For instance, and if I don't do it, then it holds my team up from being the best version of themselves and making the most money they can within my organization. And it's starting to see that some of those things, not getting things done when I say that I'm going to get them done because I'm busier than I expected to be. Those are some of the things you got to recognize. There are the fundamentals in the business, right? I mean, making sure that everything, depending on your business, they're going to look different, but everything kind of, if this, then that happens. Everything has a reason to happen, and it triggers the next step, and it triggers it properly. And, I don't want to get too far into it, but it's about systematizing. It's about adding processes to your organization to make sure that if this, then that happens, and making sure that you're not something that keeps that from happening, if that makes sense. So people, process, or program, those are three things in your organization that's going to help you, right? A person is either going to help you get something done or, do a task. A process is going to be the instructions if something happens to your organization that triggers the next thing, and it should happen the same way every time. Or it's like a program, like a CRM in a real estate investing company or any company, really, a client management tool, to make sure that you have your lead intake happening the way it's supposed to happen. You have your proper conversations, your proper follow-up. You got to look for opportunities to implement those things before you need them, so that you're not in the weeds trying to implement something that you can't give your full attention to. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. So, man, we're almost out of time. And, I end my interviews with 5 questions. So the first one is, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self if you could?
Man, can I say the word? Don't be a douchebag. So start, look, man, fear is a funny thing. And I'll be the first one to say that fear has been my biggest adversary my entire life. Belief in myself, belief in what I'm capable of, belief in that I can accomplish these things. And so I believed at 20 years old that some of these things that I've already accomplished weren't possible. And I would basically go back and tell myself just to get out of my own damn way, take massive imperfect action, and I'm not only capable, but worthy of doing all these things that I want to do.
Ooh, that's great, man. Yeah. That's what my 20-year-old self would have needed. Well, yeah. I'm 21, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you heard it. You're 21. Get it, make it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, man. And that realization is crazy, right? Like, imagine if you would have believed in yourself at 20 and believed that you could do everything that you're doing right now.
Imagine. Yeah, exactly. And the opportunity that's
the only thing that's holding everyone back, man. They don't believe in themselves.
And here's the crazy thing: the opportunity that's unfolded in front of me through my life, and some of the opportunities I didn't take advantage of, are huge regrets. But here's the thing: I'm 48. Okay, let's put it in perspective. I'm going to be 49 July. I'm almost 50 years old. And so, yeah, I'm old and whatever. I can still run circles around most of you. But here's the thing: when I was 20, we didn't have Google, we didn't have podcasts, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have all these great events with these incredible entrepreneurs that you could go to. We had a handful of infomercials that you didn't know whether you could believe or not believe. And a lot of times people were more scarcity mindset and didn't want to help you. So my opportunities weren't as abundant. The people in this generation have no friggin' excuse. There's zero excuse. If you're 20 years old right now and you're not pulling your head out of your butt and getting ready to go to work to build the life that you want, then you're a fool, because you have podcasts and you have Google and you have YouTube and you have smartphones and you have people around you that are willing to, help and answer questions on Facebook and you name it. And damn, the information's on TikTok right now is ridiculous. Look, if you don't build the life you want, you deserve to not have crap. I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a little harsh, but true.
It's true. Yeah, that's the one thing you get from me is reality, bro.
Yeah, awesome. So the next question is mindset. What is a mindset shift that you've had that you think has contributed to your success?
Oh, mindset shift is again getting over fear, making fear, starting to fear the things that you should be fearing, like not having the life you want, not living your dreams, not being able to provide for your family. That's what you should be fearing, right? Being on your deathbed and having a tremendous amount of regret. Those are the things you should be fearing. And so, fearing the right things, not letting the wrong things scare you. The other thing too is, a lot of us will look at influencers and people that have been doing big things, and we think that they're unapproachable, and realizing that they're just people too, that they are approachable, which is something you've been doing at scale, obviously. And that they're great people that really do want to give back is huge. And I think realizing that as I started to step into the community was a huge mindset shift for me.
That was a huge mindset shift for me, man. Like, I used to believe that, the normal things, rich people are evil. Don't talk to them. They were not willing to help, whatever, right? All those things. But like a huge mindset shift for me was that rich, successful people, famous people are willing to help, especially because like they probably weren't born successful, right?
No.
They had to go through the struggle. They had to put in the work. They had to put in the hours. They had to do everything that it takes to be successful. So if they see someone else that is trying to be successful, putting in the work, going through the process, they respect that. And they're willing to help that and support that. And the biggest mindset that I've had, well, maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest mindset that I've had is that successful, rich, famous people are willing to help.
They are. Now they're not willing to do the work for you. And if you're going to go in, you're going to make excuses, or you're going to challenge everything they say. They're not going to waste your time with you. But if you're truly sincere and putting yourself out there, coachable. And the reality is like, especially when it comes to entrepreneur and, real estate influencers and stuff like that, it's a small circle. There's not a lot of us out there really doing it. So we all become tight friends. And so if you want to be in that circle, if you want to be in that club, step into it. Step into it. And you'd be amazed, how many people, if you're willing to do the work, how many people are going to welcome you in and help you out.
Yeah. So man, the next question is mindset map, right? So which is clarity. So do you have any advice for people who may lack or may need more clarity in their life?
There's a perfect day exercise. You have the perfect day and perfect year exercises out there. You can probably Google it and find a sheet. I would do that. What do you want your life to look like? And be honest, be real with yourself. Like for me, I am not a sit on the beach guy. Yeah. I'm gonna die I always say I'm gonna die at my desk, tongue in cheek, right? I'm gonna be building businesses to the day I die. I love doing this until the day that I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna be entrepreneur. I'm gonna be building businesses. That's what I love to do. And I'm okay with that. And so what does my perfect day look like? What do I want my life to look like? I build it around that prospect of always building businesses. Maybe you're somebody that wants a vacation, 2 weeks out of every month. Sit down and be honest with yourself, and then figure out how to create your business to support that. And so you get clarity by being real and honest and accountable to yourself, and sitting down and doing some of these exercises and really kind of saying, what do I want? How am I going to get that? What are some of the steps I need to take to make that happen? And then remind yourself on a regular basis of what those goals are, so you don't lose sight of them and end up creating a prison.
Great advice, man. And be honest with yourself, because I thought that my perfect day was working 7 days per week, 12 hours per day, and like it's not, right? It's not. And I thought it was, and I was like, hold on, no, never mind, But then now I have like my perfect day on my calendar, like my perfect week. And I just shift it around as life comes. But yeah, 100%. Like I have my perfect day, I have my perfect week. And yeah, it's about being honest with yourself and being honest with what you truly want and what like fills you up, right? Which like the process, I love the process, man. I love putting in the work. I love, but I also love significance. So that's why podcasting is like really good for me, because I love significance. And
well, you hit something that I want to point out. You're talking about the 6 basic human needs, right? And we don't need to go into those, but just Google 6 basic human needs. Tony Robbins talks about it a lot.
Peter Sage.
And Peter Sage. So that's the other part of being honest with you. What drives you. Significance also drives me. Right. That's part of one of the reasons it doesn't suck to walk into a room and have people that you've never met before know who you are. And so that's a driver. Now, it's not my major driver. My major driver is my kids and my family, but it's love. Yeah. It's part of what fuels me to do what I do. And when you're real about that, it doesn't make you a tool. Significance is not a bad thing. It's not a 4-letter word, as long as it's used properly, right? And so knowing that, I think, is super cool. And I just want to point that out as well. Being real about what does motivate you, what does feed your soul, what does make you feel good about what you're doing. Is it a pat on the back? Do you need gifts? The 5 love languages is another one. Do you need gifts from somebody? Yeah. How do you show love and receive love? Being real about that kind of stuff with yourself helps relationships, helps friendships, and really helps you paint the picture of who and what you want to be as you grow.
This is really cool, man, because before, I studied the 6 human needs and Peter Sage and all of that. Like on my obituary, I did my obituary like 2.5 years ago, right? Very early on. And it hasn't changed. Like everything that I did, I want. And at the bottom, I put the 3 words that will sum up my life. And I didn't know about the 6 human needs. And I put purpose, growth, and contribution. Mm-hmm. So like what drives me is, growth and contribution, which are the last 2 human needs, and purpose, right? And like my purpose makes me feel significant, because like I want to build this world movement helping men become modern gentlemen. So yeah, I'm driven by that. So it's pretty cool. The next question is mindset map motion. What is it one habit that you have, man, that you think has contributed to your success?
I am a big jump off the cliff and build the airplane on the way down kind of guy. And so massive imperfect action, I think, is very important.
Nice.
And we're not all built that way. Some people need a little bit more certainty.
Perfection.
Certainty is a basic human, one of the 6 human needs.
Yeah.
So there's certainty.
So you embrace uncertainty.
I embrace uncertainty. One of my needs is uncertainty.
You live for it.
To a large degree, I do. But I also take action on things that, are unknown to me. And I have to, because if I stop and think about it too long, I won't do it. And so, for instance, we're working on some stuff right now in the marketing arena for a lot of stuff we're doing. And my team around me was, they're trying to protect me about taking certain actions. They're trying to hold me back. And I realized on a call yesterday that my frustration level had risen to a point it didn't need to rise to, because I'm like, you're holding me back and I need to jump off the cliff and see what happens and then make adjustments. I don't need perfect before I go. And so, but yeah, that's important to me is sometimes that's the only way I learn is by taking action and seeing, okay, that wasn't right. What's right? You know what I'm saying? And again, it's being real with yourself.
And that's a great habit for most people should have. Right. Taking action before everything being perfect. Yeah. Right? Because that's a habit that most people should have, that not many people have, that holds them back. So yeah, that's a great one. I really like that one. So the last question is around measure. What do you think about measuring and tracking?
Well, in business, you should measure and track everything, right? And so, but I don't think that's what you meant. So, I mean, obviously you should have your key performance indicators, your KPIs in business. We test and track our marketing. Like that's a hands down. You should either do it or have somebody around you that does it. As far as life, I don't think I figured that one out yet. I really try to, you have to have somebody to teach and somebody to chase. So I try to measure in the impact I'm making and how I've achieved what I want to achieve next to the person that I'm chasing. But that's a double-edged sword, right? You don't want to always live by somebody else's highlight reel. You want to create your own highlight reel, right? And so, but it's that balance I'm always trying to find in the measurement. How do I compare to the people that I want to compare to, and how am I leaving the legacy to the people that I'm trying to bring up? And that's something that I think that'll always be an ongoing process for me.
Nice. Okay. So, man, I've had a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this episode. And, I love what you're all about, man. Real estate. Like, real estate is the way to go. So if people want to know more about what you do, or your Flip Talk podcast, in which you talk about, real actionable information to start and scale a real estate, or your mastermind, or the ready, build, launch programs that you have. If people want to know more about all of that you got going on, or more about you, or they want to reach out, where should they go?
So fliptalk.com is a great place to go to, again, hear some of the podcasts, apply for coaching, apply for the mastermind. You can go to beinthisroom.com directly to apply for the Inner Circle Elite if you feel like you're somebody that'll qualify for that. And obviously Flip Talk is on iTunes and Stitcher and iHeartRadio and everywhere. I'm going to plug this. About 4 years ago, I did a podcast series called Rookie Playbook, Flip Talk Rookie Playbook. It's its own podcast. My co-host at the time, Ryan, and I started with, I have this crazy idea. I want to be a real estate investor. What's the very first thing I should do? And we did 49 episodes, 49 weeks of the Rookie Playbook. And it was a great, I get more feedback from Rookie Playbook than anything, because it really was step-by-step. I'm going to do a 2.0 version with my son, who's getting ready to turn 18. He's actually been doing sales and negotiations with my company. He's got a few contracts under his belt, and he's going to co-host with me for Rookie Playbook 2.0. And so if you want to be notified when that comes out, if your real estate investing on your radar and you haven't done it yet, go to fliptalk.com/rookie playbook and just put your name and email in. And,
I'm interested in that one, man. I'm going to go check that one out.
Yeah. We'll make sure that you get notified as soon as it gets released.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you very much. Hope you had an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you later, man.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms